champagne. We all know what that is. A flute of fantastic tasting fizz that probably costs a small fortune. But did you know the climate and terroir of Marlborough makes crisp, acidic wine that ages beautifully? Meaning that it works perfectly for really good bubbles. Matt Elric, you're the chairperson of Methode Marlborough Group.
I'm proud, actually, to be a part of such a wide-ranging and interesting group of spectacular wine producers.
It's been going since 2013. How did it kick off? What was
Adele Lebrun, Daniel Lebrun's lovely wife, has had the vision, really, for Methode Marlborough for a long time. The email went out, who's keen, who's interested in joining this group? And 10 people turned up, and those 10 people are still in the group.
There's a quality list that you have to hit. Do you audit people, or is there an element of trust?
There's definitely an element of trust. We do put forward each year which wines comply with those rules. So we can audit them if we like, but I think there's enough trust within the group to know that that everyone is there.
Me personally, from a wine reviewing side of things, I can't remember the last time I was ever disappointed with a bottle of Marlborough Methode Traditional.
The key thing about that is that we've all got the same goal of producing high-quality bottle-fermented wines. That wee guy who's producing a few hundred cases and that big guy who's producing a few 100,000 cases, they all want the same thing. They all want high quality.
It's not the easiest style of wine to make, is it?
Well, I think we're seasoned professionals, so we like to make very difficult things look easy, and I think we're not too bad at that.
The rules are that the group may only use the classic 3 champagne grapes, Chardonnay, Pinot Noir and Pinot Meunier. They have to be grown in Marlborough and they must be aged in the bottle on their lees for at least 18 months. But there's actually much more to it than that.
For us, for example, it starts right when you pick the grapes. So we pick them very early in the season, so we're looking for a lot of acid.
The refreshing acidity, I think that's what makes Methode Marlborough wine stand apart, is that freshness and crispness and acidity and liveliness that you get from the climate that we have.
Then we get the wines very dry in tank, which is very traditional. And then from there, we put it through full malolactic fermentation.
We come up with our blends at that stage. That's a really critical part of the process in terms of our style that we're aiming for with each wine that we're making.
You make a still wine, and then following that, there will be the process of making a Methode Traditional, which is another second fermentation in the bottles.
The wine needs to mature in bottle for at least 18 months. For me, that's quite important.
It takes 3 years from picking, first fermentation, the art of blending, tirage, bottling, sleeping in the dark, the yeast eating the sugar. That becomes the bubble, the bead.
From there, we need to do the riddling process, which is, if you can imagine, the bottle is lying horizontally on its side, and there's a layer of yeast lying along the bottom. So what we're trying to do, the riddling as a whole concept, is lifting the bottle up a little and turning it slightly so that yeast eventually ends up down in the neck of the bottle. We then freeze the neck of the bottle, and then that little yeast plug, when we turn it upside down under pressure, gets popped out.
It's very strict. These wines are actually held on lees, so the conditions are perfect to make vintage Methode Traditional, which will rival and surpass many champagnes. This is true every year, and that's my French shrug.
So, needless to say, the monthly Methode Marlborough meetings are full of sparkle as well. And today we're lucky enough to be at Alan Scott Winery, where the kitchen team are experts at matching Marlborough Methode with a meal.
Welcome again, Methode Marlborough Group. It's good to have you here, and it's great to be able to toast Methode Marlborough in such a auspicious spot and with such fantastic food. Because as we know, Methode Marlborough goes so well with food, doesn't it?
So Nicola, tell me what's in your glass.
I've got the 2011 Spy Valley Echelon.
So what's the style of Echelon?
It's very dry, so brut zero pretty much. Works perfectly with the oysters, the seafood that we have here in Marlborough. It's delicious.
That lovely minerally, slightly salty character that you get in that seafood, I think works really well. What kind of style is it, though, compared to, say, the other Methodes on the table?
Look, it's Pinot dominant, so 75% Pinot Noir. So I think it has quite a sort of subtle power to it.
We're sipping away on Cecilia Vintage, which is Blanc de Blanc.
Ah, it's a Blanc de Blanc. Okay.
100% Chardonnay. It's a drier style. It's not for everyone.
Okay, well, I'll just tell you if it's for me. Yes, it's for me. I think you're onto something really magical, and I feel really privileged to have been part of it today. Cheers to you guys. Cheers. Fantastic.